All right, we're live at the 2014 USTFCCCA convention. I'm joined this morning by Alabama jumps coach Dick Booth. Coach Booth, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
So, what has been on the docket for you so far at convention, and what's still left for you to do?
Well, basically, I just come out here to listen to any clinician. You know, I always pick up something. You'd think at this point I might be over the hump as far as learning, but you always pick up some things. I always enjoy that. And then just the business part of it, of what we might be looking forward to the next couple of years and how we might affect that.
Sure. Something you said to me in an email is kind of stuck in my brain. I just threw one out there about like your philosophy in coaching the jumps, and you said, "Here's my philosophy: take off close to the board." In our sport, do you think we kind of undersell the technical components, particularly in the field event? Do we kind of? It seems like in soccer and basketball, there's a certain complexity that we expect the fan to appreciate, but in the jumps and throws, it seems like we're afraid of selling that complexity almost.
Well, the field events in track and field, that's why I really gravitated in that direction. I really appreciate the fact that kids are not born knowing how to do those things. They have to learn them, and it's a joint venture between you and the athlete. And to see them, you might get a hold of a kid that doesn't know which end of the shot to hang on to, and a couple years later he's winning the state. And that's a great feeling to see somebody blossom like that, and the fun that goes along with it.
You've been tremendously successful coaching the jumps at Florida and in Alabama. Has anything changed for you? You talk about picking things up, from clinicians. Have you kind of had the same approach for years, or are you kind of always mixing it up in terms of what you can do with coaching jumpers?
Well, I think possibly because of some of the success I've had, I pretty much stay the same. My basic philosophy is we're just going to work hard. We're going to be real solid fundamentally. I try not to change a kid's personality. Everybody does their thing a little bit differently, and we're just looking for happiness and success. And if a kid can be a little bit different, a little bit unique, and do it, that's fine with me. And I think the worst thing I think you can do is take away a person's aggressiveness by giving them too many things to think about.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about recruiting, the type of kid you look for when recruiting for the SEC, because it's such a tough conference to win as a team and even individually that you want to recruit kids that can handle getting third, but you don't want to recruit kids that are settling for getting third either.
You don't want somebody that's doomed to be no better than third. You're always trying to get that kid that can win. Obviously, we all start the same place, and that's when you get the high school list, and it's got people names at the top with the best performers in the country and even around the world.
Yep.
And you start there, and then they've got the ability to do what you want. Then a very close second is what kind of person are they? Are they going to come in and contribute to your program's direction, if they're going to buy into what you believe in, the culture of your program? And you make a mistake in character, and it can erode your whole program. And so I feel like that's a very important thing, and it's a lot more fun to coach a guy like that or a girl. It doesn't have to be a guy. And I know I enjoy going to work a lot more if everybody's on the same page and we pretty much see eye to eye on the way things ought to be done.
As someone who's passionate about field events, how do we make field events more palatable, more digestible, just more accessible to fans?
Well, I think you just have to learn it. I mean, I think the first time you go watch a football game, you're really going to be lost as to what a block is and a tackle is and all the kinds of things that go on. So it's a matter of a person kind of educating themselves by
Sure.
just exposing themselves to the events themselves. And they're exciting. A well-done jump or a well-done throw is pretty dynamic and pretty amazing sometimes. Yes. And so I think you just have to go out and see it for yourself. I know we've hosted some meets at our place, and when you go down to the local bank who might be helping sponsor your event, and you put a bar at 18 feet, and they come in and they wonder what that is, and you say, well, there's going to be somebody jump that high this weekend. Or you have a line here and a line over by the door, and they're wanting to know, and they say, well, there's going to be somebody long jump from here to that line. And you're saying, that's clear through the room. I said, well, if you've got a front room that's 22 feet by 24 feet, I've got a guy that can jump from one door to the other and never touch your room, if you can imagine that. Well, that makes it real, and they really think, well, I want to see that. I'd love to see something like that. Or you hand them a 16-pound shot and say, there'll be somebody out there that will throw this thing over 60 feet.
Right.
And they're thinking, throw it, I can hardly hang on to it, and that makes things a little more amazing.
So you're definitely pro kind of this movement towards having street meets and having, like when they do at Drake, the pole vault in the mall, that type of thing. You think is
anything that can promote our sport. A lot of people. I had my daughter's grandpa-in-law had never been to a track meet. He's a great big football fan at the University of Arkansas, and after his grandson married my daughter, he came to a conference track meet and told me at the end of it that was the single best athletic event he had ever seen. And we happened to have a really good track team at Arkansas at the time. And of course, anytime the Razorbacks could kick people's butt, that was a good thing. And we kicked everybody's butt on the same weekend. He said, that's just the coolest thing in the world. My most dreaded enemies, the Gators and the Crimson Tide and all these people, they came here and we busted their butt and sent them home.
Do you think there's anything our sport can do to make sure that we're growing and healthy and present in the coming years?
I think the one thing the biggest complaint I hear about track and field is that an actual track meet lasts so long.
Yep.
You have to show up at 9 in the morning and you have to stay till 10 o'clock that night if you don't want to miss a distance run or a hammer throw or something in between. And that's just not. I can't watch basketball for 8 hours. I can't watch a football game for 10 hours. I mean, it's no matter what your favorite sport is, you really can't do it that long without, you just got to have a break. And I think we really have to find a way to not mess up the traditions of our sport, but yet make it more manageable as far as spectators.
Sure. Well, Coach Booth, thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate
I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.